Welcome back, everybody, to my filmmaker showcase. Today I'm going to be reviewing the film 44 caliber. Since it's probably not a film that you've heard of before, let me read the synopsis for you. In the small city of Union, Ontario, the streets are threatened by a serial killer on the loose who preys on couples at Lover's Lane. The Union Police Department rival the mob, trying to end the numerous murders by catching the 44 caliber killer. Michael, a policeman that prefers office work, is pushed into a promotion, and as a result of increased crime, becoming Officer Miller's partner by default. Meanwhile, mob boss Giovanni Amenzo conspires behind the scenes to avenge the attack of his daughter by shutting down a section of the city at night. 44 caliber was written and directed by Darryl Ayles, and Darryl also produced it. He also did the cinematography. Jamara Forbes led the art direction. I'm reading it off the back here. The soundtrack was done by Grody Bedroom Sessions, which was a very good soundtrack. The stunt and fight cinematography was done by Tad Brock. It was edited by Christian Mitchell, and it's starring, it was produced in association with Negative Underground Society. It stars Taylor Bogart, Angelique LeBlanc, Lana B. King, Tad Brock, and David Parisian. The special effects were done by Zachary Litt, and a lot of the people that worked on this film also acted in it. They filled many hats on the set of the film, and that's what you normally get on like low budget features, and the end result is just amazing. I got a bunch of things to talk about with this film, so it might be a little bit longer than the event review I did last week. First up, the movie actually is one of those films that actually gets better the more times you watch it. I saw it once last month, and as a refresher, I decided to watch it again yesterday and to write notes down while I watched it, which is not something I normally do. I haven't done that since back when I studied film at Fanshawe. So I'll just go through the list I have here. The opening of the film, I feel, sets the tone for the rest of the film, like the grittiness and all that. And it's shown through the camera movement and the tightness of the shots. And what I mean by that is like the framing, like how every shot is framed in the opening before you see the title. It feels like a gritty, like amateur film, which is good. I know sometimes when you say a film looks amateur, it means it's bad. Well, in this case, it actually is a good thing. Like, had Orange Hat Film Productions had a bigger budget, sure, we would have got bigger like set pieces and stuff like that, but I feel like with the low budget that they had, they worked with what they did and they made a great film out of it, which is something that not many low budget films can actually accomplish. So yeah, the camera movement, like I'm not entirely sure which was the main camera that they shot the film on, but I think they shot portions of it on an 8mm camera, and that also added to the overall look and feel of the film. The choice of following the killers is not something that you normally see in crime drama films. Normally it just follows the police as they investigate it, but we actually have 3 storylines that like at one part of the film it's a little confusing as to what's going on, but because there's like a flashback in the middle of the film and then it goes back to present, so can kind of get disorienting, but there's like 3 storylines that they follow. They follow the killers, they follow the police, and they follow the mob. And my friend Christian Mitchell did a very good job at cross-cutting between these. While it was confusing at that one part, other than that, like, it was very well edited. Darryl Ayles did a very good job at directing. All the acting was very well done. And one thing I want to mention that I didn't notice the first time I watched it, which I thought was a cool touch, and this is what I mean by, like, if you watch a movie more than once, you get to pick up things that you don't see the first time. So there's a little Easter egg in it, and I think it may be the only one that's in it, but I thought it was really cool. There's an advertisement for the film Vent. Yes, the same Vent that I did a review on last week. There's a billboard in one of the shots. I thought that was a really cool touch, and I'm not sure if this means that there's an Orange Hat Film Productions cinematic universe, but it definitely is an interesting idea to think about, that these 2 films are kind of set in the same universe type thing. Yeah, the editing, it doesn't seem like it's over edited or under edited. Like some low budget films, like sometimes they fall victim to that, where it's like they over edit it and then it doesn't really work, or they under edit and there's just not enough variety in the shots. So with 44 caliber, there's enough variety in shots, and it doesn't, like, for certain scenes. There's some scenes that have more than 2 angles, and then there's just some that are just 1 angle, and it just feels like it's well paced that way. Everything blends well, everything's the right length, every shot. The emotion of the story is actually conveyed through the cinematography, I feel. And there's a shot nearing the end of the film where the killer couple, they embrace in a hug, and like just the way that Darryl shoots that, it just really conveys how emotional that scene actually is. And the same goes for like the last 15 to 20 minutes of the film. Like the bathroom, the bathtub shot, it's cross-cut with, I believe, is a memory of Samantha Harp, who is one of the killers. And it's just like the way that it's shot and then cross-cut, it works really well and is very cohesive together, blends well, flows well together. So one actor actually stands out for me, and that's David Parisian. Apologize if I said his name wrong, but his acting stands out for me as one of the better actors in the entire film. It was well acted. Like, there were some that weren't like weren't like the best, but it works well with the story. Like, one performance felt a little wooden, I guess you could say. I think it's just the way that the actor was delivering the lines. It didn't seem natural, because I think he didn't really seem like he didn't blink in it, and it kind of stood out in a way. But other than that, everything was well done. Yeah, the 8mm film that was shot by the killer, it was a great choice to incorporate that, and like, as a special feature on the actual Blu-ray, you can actually see that film in its entirety, which I thought was really cool. The shot where Tad Brock's character, Michael, is developing the film in the dark room, and it's actually cross-cut with Samantha walking home. Like, that, I feel, was really well edited, well shot. Like, everything just worked very well. Lighting was kind of iffy in some parts, but it still worked to convey the scene. There was one shot in the film, definitely nearing the end, if I remember correctly, it wasn't really focused on Tad Brock's character. It was focused more on the background. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but it just kind of really stood out to me. The juxtaposition of the bathtub shots is really cool, and it really shows the emotion of the scene and what the character is going through in her head. And there's actually minimal sound in that final scene, and it just makes it stand out as like one of the great scenes of the film. There is an end of credit scene. I won't actually spoil it, other than saying it's kind of graphic, and it was a interesting shot to actually add to the film. I saw the behind the scenes documentaries on it that were included on the Blu-ray, and just shows, despite it having a small budget, the Darryl and Jamara and everybody else that worked on the film, they put so much work into the film, and it really shows. And I think Darryl mentioned this in one of those interviews. It is a great film to introduce you to Southern Ontario's film scene. Everything, like, despite small issues with how, like, some dialogue didn't really feel natural, everything felt real. The sets were very well dressed. There's even a shot, like, in the behind the scenes documentary of, like, a little bit of the process where Jamara actually puts a crushed pop can in the scene. So Next time I watch it, I'm actually gonna be looking for that pop can, if it ended up making the cut. So another scene that really stood out was when Darryl's character stops an incoming car from going into the area of Union. I'm not sure exactly what all the characters' names are off the top of my head, but I felt that entire scene was one of the standout ones. The dialogue was written perfectly for that. It was shot perfectly. It was edited perfectly. It just worked very well. And I also did take a look at the deleted scenes. The first deleted scene is interestingly shot, but it feels a little odd. It felt a little odd to me. Not really sure how to explain it fully, but the shot felt like it was part of the film, but at the same time didn't feel like part of the film. So I guess that's why Christian and Darryl cut that scene from the film. The second deleted scene to me felt more like an extended version of a scene that was in the film. Now, it might have actually just been an alternate version of that scene. This film, 44 Caliber, was very well put together in all aspects of it. Orange Hat Film Productions put in so much work in this film, and it actually really shows. I had very minimal issues with the film, mostly dialogue stuff. That lines that stood out feeling wooden, like if they were delivered, or it just didn't really feel like natural in some parts. Like some dialogue didn't feel it. That might just be me being nitpicky, because I also occasionally do write some stuff, and I know how hard it is to write dialogue, so it's not that big of an issue. Overall, it's really good, and you should check it out if you get a chance. I don't think you can actually watch it online. I could be wrong, but it would actually help out Orange Hat Productions if you actually bought a copy of it. Like, you can also get, I think there's some, I think at one point there was copies of the script that you could purchase. Obviously you can buy the Blu-rays, you can get DVD copies of it on their website, which will be in the description. One thing you might not know about 44 Caliber is that it was partially based on a true story that had a happy ending. So, going by what Darryl said in the behind the scenes videos, it was based on a co-worker, I believe, who actually found himself in mob territory in New York City during the time of the Son of Sam murders. And then that's how the story developed. Darryl kept thinking about it, writing down certain angles that he wanted to capture, or ideas that came to his mind on how to portray this story. And the end result was the film 44 Caliber. Yeah, if I were to give this a rating out of 10, I would definitely give it a 9.5. Sunday, I'm going to be doing a live interview with Tad Brock, who acted and produced this film. He also acted, produced, directed Vent from last week. And of course, I had to bring Darryl Ayles, who had small parts in both films, produced both films, and directed 44 Caliber. Stay tuned for that, and I'll see you then.